and I had to do the Heimlich, and we found out that I do not have enough power to like do a Heimlich. But I was also like, I can't even save my own friend. Like, I'm not strong enough to do the Heimlich.
I mean, honestly, if I had to pick a friend to save me, you would be pretty low on the list.
Thank you.
Welcome to When Harry Dumps Sally. Today we watched Miss Congeniality. This is a podcast where we watch a rom-com.
And then we talk about what we think happens after the credit rolls to the couple. Do they stay together? Do they break up? Who breaks up with who?
Who breaks up with who and why?
For
and
why?
We just discuss their relationship and the movie in general.
Yeah.
And today it's Miss Congeniality, which is from 2000, did we say? Yes.
Yeah, year 2000.
The log line for it: Gracie Hart, a tomboyish detective, is forced to infiltrate the Miss United States beauty pageant as a contestant after her department learns that the event is under threat from an anonymous bomber.
Ooh. That feels like one of the more accurate log lines we've seen.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens. We've got Sandra Bullock as Gracie. This is our third Sandy B movie.
Our third? You're right. Wow, she's
all over the place and different characters every time. And this is my favorite.
Yeah. What was the first one?
The Proposal.
Oh. This one is not so dissimilar from
It's not,
While
but
You Were
this character.
Sleeping.
It's not dissimilar from While You Were Sleeping?
This one's tougher, but the idea is like, they're just like schlubby, sad women. But this one's like strong.
Yeah, I feel like While You Were Sleeping, she was like just a loser of a woman.
I completely agree. This is a cooler version, but I think it's both like these like unassuming, whatever, you know. But I agree. This one's way better.
Yes.
We like her a lot more.
A lot more.
But she's got range. Sandra's got range.
Yes, we love her.
Yeah.
Benjamin Bratt as Eric.
What a brat. Eric Matthews.
Not a fan.
In general of him or him in this film?
In this film, I hate Eric.
Me as well.
All right, great.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we got that out of the way.
Wouldn't that be crazy if I was like, I actually really like his behavior? I like everything he does.
I'm a big fan of this man.
I like his work. I like the way he definitely doesn't respect women.
Yeah, it's very cool. So let's do our 3, 2, 1.
Oh yeah, how long we think they'll be together?
Have to say about these two.
Do we have to say if we watched it before or all that?
Oh, sure, let's do that. I've watched this movie so many times. I love this movie.
I've watched it at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was definitely one of my like go-to movies when I was younger.
Yeah.
My sister loved it. My mom loved it. Mm-hmm. Like it was definitely a movie that we all would watch.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's just a good time.
It's a great movie. We also Sandra Bullock in this movie like weirdly reminds me of my mom a lot. I don't know what
How
that
so?
says. I don't know. I don't know if I associate it with watching with her, but I think that she's also kind of tomboyish and
Internalized misogyny? I think all the women of that generation.
I mean, can you be? No, I think that she's like kind of a hard ass.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
a way that I do respect. I'm not saying this in a bad way.
No, I also do think like there's similarities to my mom too. I think that generation, like, I feel like there's this is different than I think what you're saying, but I think for me, for my mom and maybe a lot of women of that generation, it's like you're hot or you're smart. And you gotta fucking pick one, and like you have to look down on the other if it's different from you. Or I know my mom. Well, it's so funny. It's like she's fucking hot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like my mom's smart and
she,
hot.
She modeled for a bit.
Yeah, my mom is like very like.
But she definitely like sees, like unfortunately, she lives like in a dichotomy of a world where you're smart or you're not.
Yeah.
And like there's a little bit of that with whatever's going on with Sandra Bullock in this film,
I think what's funny with my mom is that I feel like she is smart and hot and like a hard ass. Maybe this is what makes me think of her, is that I think that she is like a very like dominant woman and like very in charge. But we also watched Miss America pageants and Miss USA all the time.
We would never in our house.
Yeah. We definitely watched it.
That's so funny.
All the time. I think because specifically, like, the talents are like fun to watch.
Yeah. I've never seen it before, actually. This is the closest I've gotten to watching any sort of
I mean, it's
pageant.
pretty accurate for what it's like.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, you know, all of the, obviously there are big issues with it.
Disagree,
but,
it's perfect.
Yeah. Never mind. It's totally fine. But yeah, I mean, it was like watching talents, watching people do gymnastics and sing and dance and do, you know, baton, whatever their things were.
I love it. It's fun. We do have to discuss what our kind of rules are regarding things with sequels.
Oh, yes. This is our first movie where we made this call because there is a sequel, which I have not seen, I don't think.
I've seen it. I don't remember anything about it.
We've decided if a sequel was not planned for the movie,
if it's not canon,
then
it's out.
Like, it technically is canon, but if it was like when they made this movie, they were not thinking about a sequel.
Yeah.
So therefore, the sequel does not count in our minds while we've watched this. If we end up watching it in the future, then we'll assess from there.
Separately. But don't come at us being like, well, actually, this is what happens in the sequel.
We don't know what the fuck happens in the sequel.
And we don't care. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist in the world of this podcast. Yeah. So, and it doesn't exist in my brain either because I don't think I've seen it.
I feel like it's more of a buddy cop film from bits I remember.
Okay.
But I don't remember much. So
okay.
That's it. So we're only basing on this film. Ignore number 2, whatever it is.
If number 2 is your favorite one, I don't know what to tell you.
Weird choice, honestly. All right, so now we're going to say how long we think Agent Eric Matthews and Agent Gracie Hart are going to stay together?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1, 6 months.
6 months?
I think, well, I can't tell how long they've been together. I don't know. I'm down for a month.
We don't know how long they've been together. What do you mean?
Well, I feel like how long is the Miss Congeniality thing after the pageant? Because that's when, like,
she's literally leaving. They're all leaving.
Oh, it like literally just happened?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think they'll probably fuck for a while. I'll go with 6 months.
Wow.
I'll stick with
6 months is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. Maybe I'll split the difference. I'll say 3.
1 month.
Yeah.
1 month. That way, all of Gracie's hairs are going to grow back. She's going to be she's not going to keep up her appearances, and he's a fucking shallow
actually
asshole.
A very good point.
Yeah.
And also, they're two, like, they're friends, which I do love a friendship turned romance.
Friends to lovers.
But he doesn't respect women.
Nope.
He likes dumb women. He's liked this his entire time. And then he was like, oh my God, she's like actually pretty, which is so stupid because she's been pretty this entire time. And she's not going to put up with his like baby bitch behavior.
No.
So. All right. I'll go back to a month. Yeah, you're right. I just think that they might want to fuck a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think that can keep you going for 3 months.
Okay. I mean, okay, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We have a whole film.
But I also, Listen, 6 was crazy. I take it back.
Okay, good.
I decided that what I said was insane.
6 is wild to me.
I don't fucking know how long people stay together. People do stupid things.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. But she's a lot smarter and she would not put up with his dumbass behavior. All right, fine, a month.
No, we'll see if we can talk it out.
All right, we start with 1982.
New Jersey.
Grace is a little girl and she
playground.
sees a boy beating up some other kid. She goes, she kicks the shit out of the bully. And then the kid who's being beaten up is like, oh, now everyone knows that I can get beaten up by a girl. And then she punches him.
Yeah. The bully, when she goes up to him, he's like, blah, 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 you're a girl. And she goes, you're calling me a girl? And then she's like, you're a girl. And he's like, you're calling me a girl? She's like, you called me one. And then she punches him, which I think is really funny. Because she really has an issue. I think there's like deep... weird stuff. She does not like whatever she's associating with girlhood, womanhood, does not like it.
I relate to that growing up.
Yes, absolutely.
We all had so much internalized misogyny, and and this was 2000.
Yes.
And I don't feel like I really unpacked a lot of that until I was like in my 20s.
Same, absolutely.
And definitely when I was super young, I was like, do not put a dress on me. I will not wear pink.
Yeah.
Like I will not have any of that.
No, I'm not a girly girl.
Although I do want to say, we'll get to it. I'll just say it right now. I used to play with my I didn't have dolls and Barbies.
Of course.
But my sister had lots of dolls and Barbies, and I used to like reenact this movie a lot with her
That's so
dolls
cute.
and like do their own little beauty pageants.
That's adorable.
Yeah, but I was a tomboy and I didn't play with dolls.
I didn't have dolls.
I didn't have dolls. I mean, I did. I had some, but
yeah,
like I was like, ugh,
gross.
And then I would play with my sister's dolls.
That's funny. Yeah, it was. I remember, like, it wasn't until I had a therapy appointment in my like very early 20s where I think I talked to the therapist about how like I don't have lady friends. I don't really like women. And she's like, do you know that you're a woman? And I was like, you're like, what? No. She's like, do you not like yourself? And I'm like, hey,
yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, I feel like it was definitely like, oh, I'm a guy's girl. Like I would rather be friends with
all my friends are guys.
Or with guys.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I always had girlfriends growing up, but I feel like we were maybe all similar to each other.
Yeah.
And I don't even know that that's like 100. Like you had girlfriends growing up as well.
I had girlfriends, but there was
like,
a phase in my 20s where like it's definitely a little bit more guys than girls.
Yeah.
I think because at the time what I realized I didn't really want to, I think I was in like a low place where I didn't want to have to actually share my feelings with anyone. Any of my guy friends would keep it all very like light and surface.
Yes.
And so I think that's why I was avoiding girls for a second.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, and I still am friends with plenty of men, but you know, you got to have a solid, I feel like when somebody's like, oh, I just like don't get along with girls.
I'm like,
it's like a red flag.
You problem. That's a big you problem.
But we all went through that.
We've all been
and
there. Then
I feel like now I'm like, yeah, I want girl stuff. Like pink is fun. Glitter's fun.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift is fun.
What a good time.
Women who hate Taylor Swift or any like major female artist, I'll go like, I think Taylor Swift is a big one, that like a very common one.
Yes.
But I would say like hating Beyonce, hating Lady Gaga, hating any of these like major female pop stars, if you hate them, like that's, unpack that, like really consider why you hate them. You don't have to be into their music, but like, why do you hate them?
Yeah, because you just don't see the same thing for like male pop stars.
No.
No one's like, I hate Harry Styles.
Right. Or
you
like,
know?
Harry Styles only talks about his like relationships.
Yeah.
It's like, give me a musician who doesn't.
Yeah. Huge red. I actually, one of my friends, my friend Molly, her friend was in town and we were all like in a car. And I think I brought up Taylor Swift, or maybe my friends were at a Taylor Swift concert. She's like, oh, I don't like Taylor Swift. I'm like, oh, do you hate women? And she was like, maybe I do. I was like,
consider it. I don't know. I just feel like you're trying to appeal. And it's the hate.
It's the
Fine,
hate.
Whatever. Don't like her.
You don't have to like
That's
a lot
fine.
of artists, but saying you hate her is weird.
Yeah.
I think it's very
Hating is
weird.
bizarre.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
All right.
we do hate women in this movie though a little bit.
I do like that. Okay, so at the end of this child scene where they're children, she tells the boy or whatever that she saves, or she tells him that he likes her or she likes him, and he was like, you're a dork brain. And then when he rejected her, she hit him, and I'm like, damn, a reversal. Women in STEM. Like, you never see that. It's always men punching women when women reject them.
This
is a feminist film.
For her.
This is a feminist film.
Honestly, I think in the end it is. I do think that like
is.
the message at the end,
Absolutely.
but we go through a lot of hating women to get there.
Yes. So much.
And
which
I
is
don't
the
even
journey.
know that we come out on the other end perfect, but
Disagree.
you think perfect? Well, I feel like the men are still trash.
Yeah, for sure.
But, you know, we can't expect much from them,
Listen,
unfortunately.
Our eyes are open here. Okay.
We start off, there's a sting operation. We're getting some Russians, and he chokes on a peanut.
Yeah.
And she's
Which is
like,
not the normal way to die by peanut.
no. And they're like, oh, what? You're going to die by that peanut? I was like, oh,
I would.
This would be the best way to take Natasha out. Put her in the sun and give her a peanut.
Yeah. So there's a situation he's choking on a peanut, and our girl Gracie like wants to go and like save him
because she doesn't want him to die like
that way. That's not how he's supposed to die, the perp. And they're like, no, don't. And then she ends up going and giving him the Heimlich. Were you there the time where I failed at saving our friend Chloe?
I wasn't, but I have heard this story.
We were running an open mic, and she was just eating cut up watermelon.
Oh.
And I think she, I guess, ate too big a chunk.
Oh, no.
She started like miming that she was choking, but we were around more or less all comics. So they all thought she was just like joking or something or fucking around. And then it was clear that she wasn't. And I had to do the Heimlich. And we found out that I do not have enough power to like do a Heimlich. And so she had to like hit it out of herself basically. And she was fine. But I'm sure she was not fine emotionally afterwards. But I was also like, I can't even save my own friend. Like, I'm not strong enough to do the Heimlich.
I mean, honestly, if I had to pick a friend to save me, you would be pretty low on the list.
Thank you. That's fair. In that way, there's other ways I could do it.
Yeah, what way?
Like, call 911.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I trust that you would call 911.
But don't do it on a strength-based situation.
No, anything where you had to come in.
No. No. Anyway, yeah, okay.
She can do the Heimlich though. I don't know if I could successfully do a Heimlich. I don't really know how, like, and we should learn, I suppose.
I think what's, like, obviously I'm not that strong, but I think there's also so much fear in me of hurting someone. That there's like a lot of limiting I do because I was scared too of hurting her, which is dumb because you have to prioritize the
right.
pushing.
I feel like when you're doing CPR, people are like, a broken rib is fine. It's like better than having them die.
Yeah, which is true.
I would be scared, like, what if it turns out that they didn't need CPR at all? And I'm just saying they're breaking their ribs for no reason. They're like, all right, whoops.
Oopsies. All right. So she tries to save the choking guy and ends up kind of fucking up the whole sting.
Yeah. One of their agents gets shot. It's, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
She comes home. She's pissed off. She makes herself a microwave meal. She's punching her punching bag. She is a tomboy.
She is. She is all over frozen foods. It's all like frozen food meals.
Yeah. But also I would say, like, she's an FBI agent. She's probably working constantly. Like, what? She doesn't have time to make herself some meal. I don't think it's crazy to eat frozen meals when you're busy.
Yeah. We get intercuts between this whole thing of, like, whoever the bad guy is, like, writing
He's doing
notes.
bad guy things where he's, like, writing notes to them, which I'm like,
okay.
If you want to bomb a pageant, maybe don't tell everyone.
Don't give everyone a heads
that
up.
you're going to do that.
Yeah.
I don't understand. It's a bad guy thing in movies. They really just want to be like, oh.
I mean, I think the idea was they wanted to make sure no one thought it was them, so they made it seem like it's this guy who's been bombing everything else. There's a guy called Citizen.
Oh,
So they're
mimicking Citizen.
Copycat. They're doing a copycat of Citizen.
Love that.
That's the idea.
All right. Wow. I missed that and I love that. I miss a lot of things. Something that I've learned doing this podcast is I don't pay attention to movies very well. And I'm frequently wrong about the assumptions that I make about what's going on. I think that I go into movies just for vibes. It's like,
it's a vibe-based situation.
Why I also don't tend to like predict twists unless it's like pretty obvious. And it's not because I'm like, oh, I can't find it. It's just because I like genuinely am like, let's see what happens.
I think for a second I forgot that was it. So instead of thinking like, oh, they're a copycat, I thought like, wow, they're going to such great lengths. They're bombing so many other things in advance to then bomb this.
That's a solid point too. I just like genuinely watched this movie just like,
let's see what happens.
Okay.
Hope she makes it. Hope Miss Congeniality.
I don't know. I'm like, I've seen this 1,000 times. I don't know what happens.
Our girl Gracie's so fun. She puts on her whole siren woo 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 to just go get coffee for everyone.
Yeah, she's driving into New York. She uses her badge, parks the car in a no parking zone.
Cuts the whole packed line of Starbucks or whatever it is.
Great scene.
I don't know why. Does she have to get coffees for everyone because she's the only woman? Like, why is she getting everyone
for
coffees?
sure.
I hate that.
Okay. I think that is probably most of it. I think the other thing that you could maybe assume is she did bad and she's trying to make good.
So. Yeah.
I think that's the better way to look at it.
I think you're probably right.
So Eric is given the case and they're in the office. She's put on like a suspension.
She has to do paperwork. Allowed. She can't play anymore.
Yeah. She goes to the bar. She's all pissed off.
She's eating a messy sandwich because the worst thing a woman can do is eat food messily.
Yeah, or eat food, period.
Yeah,
we hate when women do that.
It's very like Devil Wears Prada. Are we allowed to do that film, Devil Wears Prada?
I don't know that anybody ends up together in the
Doesn't
end.
our girl end up with her old guy?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, I know.
That's great.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's the same thing where they're like, you're eating a bagel. And I'm like, everyone calm
yeah.
down with these
Bagels are good.
Yeah, I hate it. They do a bagel thing here in this film too, where she's eating a bagel and they're like, ugh, whatever. Anyway, she has a fun bit where she asks the bartender for a pint. Turns out it's ice cream.
Yeah.
She says she's getting chip-faced.
Yeah. I wrote down a thing and then I was like, oh, never mind. Where he's like, she orders a pint. He's like, you want a whole one? And she's like, yeah. And I was kind of like, what? You think this bitch can't drink a whole beer? I don't know. I like got really annoyed by that. And then I was
fair.
like, never mind.
It's ice cream. Okay, and I don't know how old. They're supposed to be 35. So supposedly, so she's at the bar, and then Eric Matthews, the dude agent, comes over, and he's dating an undergrad.
Yeah, he's dating
this girl's
an undergrad
18, between
at
18 and 22, and he's 35, probably.
Yeah. No, he's gross.
It's
he's
disgusting.
awful. We don't like him. You're right. It's not going to last long. Thank God.
Thank you.
I don't know what people are doing with it. I don't know.
Yeah,
people are out here sticking around with bad people all the time.
It's true. It's true. The young woman that he's on a date with says to Sandra Bullock, I'd love to give a woman's point of view. And Eric Matthews says, oh, you're barking up the wrong tree.
Yeah, because she's writing some essay. She's an undergraduate.
And he's barking up the wrong tree because Sandra Bullock's not a woman. Is kind of the idea, which is gross. And then Sandra Bullock says to her, hope you have a great time at the mall.
Yeah, she's like, dumb bitches go to the mall.
Okay.
Citizen is trying to do something to the Miss USA pageant is the information. And Grace is, sneaking in the meeting. She's trying to help.
She's literally doing the whole job for everyone. And Eric Matthews just going, yeah, what she said. Yeah, that was my plan.
He's
whatever
a worthless
Gracie
man.
said. Yeah, he's absolutely useless.
Now they're like, okay, we got to get somebody in undercover.
It's got to be a lady.
It's got to be a lady. I mean, I think that is reasonable. They find the hottest. They find the hottest agent in their mind, but she's on maternity leave.
Yep.
So then they're going through all the women, and they have this dress. They're using Dress Up Sally,
for this guy's
which I'm
kids
like,
game.
I was like, I don't think that's how Dress Up Sally works, but that's fine. They have the images of all of the female agents and they're putting dresses and swimsuits on them and like laughing at them and whatever.
They're all like got popcorn. They're coming around. It's really, really gross. But then they play with Eric Matthews in a swimsuit and then they play with the big boss in a swimsuit. And that's when he walks in.
Yeah. And he walks in and he's like, this is fucked up. He's mad.
We got one of the classic movie lines that you see in like so many people where they go, he's right behind me, isn't he? I feel like you see that in everything.
You gotta say he's right behind me.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
And he was.
He was.
If you are about to say that, chances are they're right behind you.
Yeah. And then they
put a swimsuit on her and they're like, holy
she's a woman. She's a lady. Oh, whoa.
She's a lady.
She's a lady. No doubt.
Everyone's shocked.
And she's like, I'm not going to parade around and sparkling into like some bimbo, whatever.
Yeah, she's criticizing.
And he's touching her ass so many times.
No, he slaps her butt. He's like, come on, we do some butt workouts. Let me slap her ass. Like, what? Also, she's like super fit. She's probably got a great ass.
She's great. Yeah, absolutely. And then they're wrestling. It's very charged. They're wrestling on the floor.
This is why I'm saying, this is why I think they could have crazy sex. I don't know. I think really good sex. Like, she's not getting laid.
Yeah. But do you think you think he's giving it all? You think he's like...
I think that they would have like weird fighting sex.
Yeah, and that would do it. Like the toxic fighting sex.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that they are in a healthy relationship. No. And I think it ends... Maybe she kills him. That could be fun.
Fingers crossed, baby.
But I think that they would have like fighting sex.
We could talk about... I'm open-minded. I can be swayed.
I don't know. This whole wrestling thing, it was very charged.
Yeah. And everyone kind of ends up watching. They're betting on who's going to win. He's like, nobody even thinks of you that way. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And whatever.
She believes that any woman who does this is stupid.
She's
it's
like, I don't even own a
anti-feminist.
She hates Sadie being in a bathing suit. I'm like, dude, this is ridiculous. He keeps hitting her ass. I like that for the first, until they do the makeover, she's wearing the most hideous wig, and it's so obviously a wig. And it's so
her hair
silly
is just like a disaster.
So goofy.
Then we go to the beauty pageant. We've got Candice Bergen and William Shatner as the pageant runners.
Yeah.
Miss New Jersey was recently in a porn
Called Armageddon.
Yeah, so now she's going to replace Miss New Jersey, which Candice Bergen is.
That's Miss Morningside?
Miss Morningside,
She's
yes.
laughing. She's like, there's no way.
There's no way. I also am confused by this because, spoiler alert, she's the one planning this whole thing. I'm like, why did she allow this to happen? She knows, like, she's letting the FBI agents come in.
I know.
I guess to maybe, like, throw them off her scent.
I think
but
it'd
then
be
I'm
too
like,
suspicious otherwise.
why were you also trying to, like, replicate Citizen if you know that the FBI is, like, searching this person?
Why would you replicate Citizen?
Is Citizen sending the FBI letters, or is Citizen just like posting these things about?
They output some letter. I don't know if they output it publicly or straight to the FBI.
Okay,
I assume
it's probably
publicly. Yeah.
So maybe she doesn't realize the FBI is onto Citizen already.
No. Yeah, and then I think it'd be weird to say no. You have to seem like, oh yeah, whatever you need. I don't
Right.
want. She has to be
You
like,
don't
I don't
want-
want my people to get hurt.
Of course. Okay,
know?
great. So Miss Morningside is like, we got to get Victor Melling, who is Michael Caine, and he's the person who's gonna fix her up. I think she picks him because he was disgraced recently.
Well, she picks him because he's the only one left, and he was
Yes.
fantastic at his job. And 4 years prior, at one of the competitions, some woman said it was his fault because he worked her too hard and blah, 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 blah. So he hasn't gotten to work since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's, they meet for the first time. He's like, if you're Grace Hart, I quit here and now.
And she is Grace Hart.
She is. She's eating a steak with maybe ketchup.
With spaghetti.
Yeah.
Together.
Was it spaghetti? I was like confused by the red. I was like, I feel
None
like
of it made
everyone
sense.
says that ketchup on steak is like a bad thing, right? Like
I
you're
just
not
don't
supposed
think
to do
it was
that.
ketchup. I think it was spaghetti and red sauce, which to me is still weird on
That's
on
super
a steak.
weird.
None of it makes sense.
So she's eating and she's drinking her Bud Light. She's doing her weird little water glass thing while she's there. This is the first time we see that.
It's a lot of she's just herself, right? She like chews with her mouth open. She says, yeah. He's like, it's always yes, never yeah. And I'm like, why? Why? I love yeah.
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 Yes. Yes is so intense.
Yeah, it's just some finishing school
I hate
nonsense. I did a modeling school when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I feel like it wasn't exactly like this, obviously. It was not this intense. But I do remember the woman who ran it, Sandra, she was kind of intense. And I did feel a little bit like this situation where like all of the other girls in class would come dressed in skirts and dresses and like pretty things, and then we would like learn to walk runway and learn to like sit properly and everything, and they would be all dressed up and I would like show up in like basketball shorts. And I was just like dressed like the way that I was dressed. And I feel like Sandra was probably like, why the fuck is this chick in my class? I was like, I'm tall and everyone says I should model.
It was like me on the cheerleading team with like thick, heavy black eyeliner and everyone else in their sparkles.
It was middle school.
Yes.
So I was in my black
You have to.
eyeliner phase. But she taught us how to like do good makeup and I don't know, shit
and now
like
you're
that.
such a lady.
And it worked.
It worked.
I did model a tiny bit, and
I bet you did.
it was not
Imagine
for
you'd be
me.
a great model. You got all the limbs.
I have
and the
long
face.
limbs, but it wasn't for me, and that's great.
That's great.
But this reminded me
Of that.
slightly of being like, oh, I'm kind of out of place here. All right, so he's like, all right, we got to teach you how to walk.
Yep. Glide.
We're gliding. She's learning how to walk. We're doing, she's making fun of the pageant women. And then we get our makeover scene. It reminded me of Hunger Games, where it's like in one room and there's so many people surrounding her.
I love that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's very funny. It's very like, the whole vibe is like they're all doing a really intense project. And of course, it's just like removing hair, but like there's like an important speaker on the speakerphone being like, all hair removal units, electrolysis, laser, wax, and it's like, oh, this is a really intense mission, and it's a fun little like game.
Yeah, it's fun little. I love a makeover scene, even when it's like mildly
by the FBI. It's very funny.
I feel like what's rough with this is like women should be allowed to do all of these things to their body. And in that sense, it's not like misogynistic to be doing all of these things, but also women should be allowed to do whatever we want to our bodies.
Like you can't be a normal woman unless you are hairless and all
exactly
this stuff,
it's the implication that
otherwise
like if you have body hair, like that's unacceptable.
Exactly. And most of it was hair removal. Most of what we saw this chunk. And like a little bit of dentistry for a second.
Yeah. Girl doesn't go to the dentist for sure.
Yeah. And then fucking Eric's weird at the craft corner or whatever.
Yeah, he's he's being a fucking creep to some woman.
Comes up and he's like, you ever seen one this big? The sandwich. And I'm like, this fucking guy.
No,
and then they won't let her eat a sandwich.
No, she has to eat celery.
And then,
even though, again, I'm like, she is fit as fuck. Like, we do not need to worry
she needs her protein,
about
she needs her carbs.
this woman's body to be in a pageant.
No.
We shouldn't have to worry about women's bodies, period. But like in 2000 in a pageant, I'm sorry, but she's like very fit.
She's doing fine. You already saw her in a swimsuit and dress up Sally. You know she's doing fine.
She's doing fine.
Yeah. They give her the name Gracie Lou Freebush, and she's like, my IQ dropped 10 points because of the name. I was like, what was...
I don't know. Big reveal. She's
love
hot.
the reveal. It's to Mustang Sally.
Yeah.
All the technicians come out, like the warehouse door slides up. All the technicians come out in their like pink purple suits.
Yes. We're doing a slow-mo walk.
And she looks
We
banging.
love it. She looks hot.
They're using her real hair finally. She's in a little purple dress.
And then Eric, for the first time, is like, oh, damn, maybe she's hot.
It always pissed me off. It always pisses me off
when it's like, oh, wow, we did a makeover and now we realize that she's
hot.
pretty.
Yeah.
Like, she was hot this entire time.
I know. Yeah. It's very like Grease code. Can we do Grease? We've already talked about this.
Yeah, we can always
It's very
do Grease
code when it's like, oh, wow, she's hot. I'm like,
also, Sandy is pretty hot in her makeover phase.
she is. She's cool. She's bad.
Yeah.
It's true.
I don't know. Bad Sandy. We'll talk about Grease when we do it. But Bad Sandy, hot.
And then she like falls. Her whole thing is she's tripping. She trips all the time.
Yeah.
She loves to trip.
I mean, she's tripping because she doesn't wear heels, and heels are hard to walk in.
They are hard to walk in.
They're not chunky heels. They're like
They're giving her little stilettos.
Those are hard to walk in.
I don't know why they're doing that to her. They should like start her off slowly.
Yeah, give her a little bit of a chunky heel, but that's probably not. You're probably not supposed to do that or whatever.
And then she arrives at the convention-y, whatever. They're playing She's a Lady.
Yeah.
They're calling it Operation Thong. Whoa. They're calling it Operation Thong.
Yes.
She falls on the bus. She's on the bus. We love Rhode Island.
Yes. This is where we meet Rhode Island, played by Heather Burns. Her name is Cheryl, but I'm going to call her Rhode Island this entire time. I love her. Her character is so good. Also, later on, we learn that she's in school to study
nuclear fission.
Yeah. She's a genius. She's very smart. And this entire time, they're like treated like her personality is like ditzy dumb chick, but I'm like, she's very smart.
Women have range.
Yeah, we can be blonde and pretty and also be geniuses. Yes, so
absolutely.
Anyway,
they all sing a song on the bus.
Yes, this is where, I was going to talk about my recreation with the Barbies. I would like film the whole thing as I'm like singing that song in the background.
Does everyone know that song?
And she's Grace. She's Miss United States. I don't fucking know.
I was wondering, do you think that they named her Grace because two of the big songs they use the word Grace? She's
honestly,
Lady does Grace, and that one does Grace. Do you think that's why they named her Grace?
Absolutely.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it I think is the actual song, maybe. My sister, anyway,
Oh yeah,
that
I
they
assume,
do.
yeah, that's the actual song.
My
Both of
sister
the
makes
songs
fun of
say it.
me a lot for those videos.
I want to see one of them. Do you have them somewhere? I would love
I don't
to see
know.
that. Put it on the Patreon. I don't have one, but put it on the Patreon.
One of those, be like, okay. And I would like pretend to be William Shatner.
That's great. What was your William Shatner like?
I was like, I would sing the song and then I'd be like, yes, she is. Let's see our contestants. Like, I just do some like man voice. I don't know. I don't know what the. This is just what I was doing in my room.
I love that. And secretly, like, I'm going to get fired at the end of this year.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's so funny. That's so cute. She has a little camera pin on her, and all the FBI dudes are being total creeps.
Yes,
over the
they're
camera.
always watching the camera, and they're
in the
like,
hotel
"Oh
room.
man, check out these ladies."
It's very icky.
We're meeting all of the women at this table.
Yeah.
The women are being, petty, but also I love this movie because I was like, lots of female friendship, like lots of female love, and
Yes.
we can be competitive with each other and maybe a little bit mean sometimes, but at the end of the day, I do feel like women, we've like got each other's backs.
It's a lot of women having each other's backs,
and I
love to see
really
it.
love that.
Yep.
So, we're going through that. And then we learn the opening dance. She's going through all the rehearsals and stuff.
Yeah, it's very fun. She's doing her little dance. She's not good at it. It's fun to watch her not be good at it.
Yeah, then Rhode Island comes to her hotel room with her famous hot chocolate,
Yeah.
even though her roommate Texas is sleeping.
Yeah.
She's like, all the other girls, when I said hot chocolate, slammed the door in my face. They didn't even give me a chance to say non-fat.
Apparently it's disgusting.
Probably.
Yeah.
And then she makes some joke and she's like, you're so clever. You're going to win. You should tell jokes for your talent, which I'm like, this is so people being like, you're so funny. You should do stand up.
And she's like, whatever I'm going to do is a surprise. But it's not going to be like baton twirling or
She's
anything.
like some dumb shit. And we learned Rhode Island.
Does batons.
And she says that she really wants to do it with fire and a
Sexy
sexy
fire.
dance, but her parents don't like fire.
I wish it said because of the arson I
Yeah.
did. I wish she...
I'm an arsonist. She's nice to Rhode Island.
Yeah.
It's very sweet.
It's cute. And then Eric Matthews is tapping on the hotel window. And I'm like, dude, she has a roommate there. You can't be just
Yeah.
tapping on the roommate.
He's tapping on the window. He's like, you have to come do more training.
Uh-huh.
They're talking about how she needs to have a talent. She hasn't picked out a talent. I love this line where she's talking to Michael Caine. And she's like, okay, I've got something that I can do. I've been doing it since high school. And he's like, you are not having sex on that stage.
It's great. Michael Caine's so good.
It's so good.
Is he still alive?
I think so.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. I actually had the same thought watching this. I was like, oh, that's going to be so sad. But he's still around. He's still kicking it. He's 92. And he's gonna live forever. We learned she can do the water glasses. That's going to be her
Thing.
her talent.
He teaches her how to walk, and as he's teaching her what, she pulls out a bunch of guns and handcuffs from between her legs. It's fun. And then
great.
we're intercut again with seeing a bomb being blown up on a mannequin.
Or the person is practicing blowing things up.
Yeah. And then she and Eric Matthews are outside her hotel room, and she's singing like, "You think I'm gorgeous?
You wanna kiss me?"
And they almost have a moment, and then he eats a candy bar in front of her face.
Yeah.
And then it's talent show time.
It's talent show
at the
time.
Alamo.
And, where everyone's doing their various things.
Yep.
She does the water glasses, and
It's
she's
going
just
great.
like...
I don't know why part of the water glasses at the end, she rings a bell. I don't know why the bell's part of
I
it,
don't
but
know.
it's a good
It's
time.
very funny.
Yeah.
She's wearing a little like Oktoberfest or like Hansel and Gretel kind of situation.
And then she sees a guy with a gun walking around.
Yes.
And
so
she's
she's like, she's telling the FBI people, she's like,
Your
there's a man
earpiece.
with a gun. They're not finding him
At all.
Jumps off the stage at him. And everyone's like, he was just trying to light a cigarette.
Uh-huh. And then she's on camera at the end being like, she's trying to end America's dependence on tobacco.
Yeah, that's her excuse.
So fun. What a fun save.
Mrs. Morning, whatever, is like, this is Texas. Everyone has a gun.
Very
Which is probably
funny.
true and scary.
Yeah. And then they find out, the FBI finds out that the envelope from Citizen was licked by a woman.
Yes.
Plot
DNA,
twist.
plot twist. And now they're like, we're looking for someone else.
Miss Morningside says something to Sandra Bullock that's like, I've been fighting all my life against your type. Feminists, intellectuals, ugly women. Yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah. Yes. That's the other side of it. I feel like the like women versus women thing that we had, it was like, oh, you're either like
It's a
girly or
binary.
you're a tomboy. Like you can't be both and you have to hate each other.
Absolutely. And this is the first time we see Miss Morningside say, she's no one's going to ruin this year, not you. You get in my way, I will kill you. And I'm like, buddy, you should be knowing better than saying that to an FBI agent.
Especially when they're investigating you.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Not a good villain. Not a well thought out plan, honestly.
No.
Now she's learning the interview portion with Michael Caine. She gets really mad because he's kind of being hard with her, but also she hasn't slept in days. I was like, I'd be in a fucking bad mood if I haven't
She's not allowed to eat what she wants.
She's not allowed to eat and she hasn't slept. I would be an angry girl.
And he says some stuff that I guess kind of triggers her about like her life being more or less nothing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And I think we're meant to assume that like, you know, some like bad shit's probably happened. We don't really learn what it is, but
I mean, I think we get she's probably been lonely her whole life. I think we're supposed to get that from the first scene of her as a kid.
Yeah.
You know, she's like a weirdo. Whatever. And then, she goes to the pool and she's pissed off. She tells Eric she's quitting and she doesn't feel like a real agent. And isn't all your life your job too? And she's like, I've dated. And both times it was totally screwed up. I'm like, oh, you've been on 2 dates.
Yeah.
I loved that. It was very fun. And then he pulls her in the pool with the expensive dress.
Yeah.
Seems
He
not
says
cool.
some nice things to her that make her want to try again. We're at the bikini portion of the competition.
The dudes in the hotel room watching are being absolute creeps about it.
Creeps.
One of them says, like, who's your daddy? Which was gross.
Yeah,
like,
super creepy.
Yeah. And she has to be in the bikini, which is apparently the end of her life. This time, Eric Matthews is being protective, though. He's like blocking the camera from the rest. He's like, hey, don't be she's an
now
agent.
he's starting, but it's because he's starting to like
She's
her.
hot.
And she's hot and he likes her.
And
so
he has
now
to protect
she's
her.
become like his property.
Exactly.
So it's not really that cute.
It's not cute. It's not cute at all. And I was just thinking, so like we see Victor again helping her. All of the other contestants must think she's so absolutely anxious because none of them have their little coach around helping. She's the only one with her coach. Like,
oh yeah,
it's so funny. Like none of them have their coaches around. And
they're like, of course I'm in a swimsuit.
Yeah.
But also she was in a like wildly revealing swimsuit compared to some of the other girls.
Some of them, Nebraska had a bikini. A couple others had bikinis. But he's with her the whole time and none of them have their coaches with them the whole time.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're like, is she okay?
Probably.
Right? Yeah. It's so funny. But whatever, she's fine in her bikini.
We do that part.
They ask her, like, what her answer is supposed to be world peace because everyone said world peace. She says harsher punishment for parole violators, Stan.
Yes.
And world peace.
And world peace. We get Miss Rhode Island's famous line, describe your perfect date. April 25th, because it's not too hot, not too cold. All you need is a light jacket.
Great
answer. We love Rhode Island.
We love Rhode Island. And they start thinking at this point that she's the one who did it because of some
She was an animal. Yeah, there's some pictures of her on campus. She's also an animal rights activist.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, she's definitely the killer because she cares about animals.
It's ridiculous. And Michael Caine and Eric Matthews, you got to talk to her. And Michael Caine's like, just do girl talk, talk about leg waxing, fakes orgasms, inability of men to commit. And
girl stuff.
Sandra Bullock's like, why don't you go talk to her? And she takes out the earpiece because she can't talk girl talk with a guy in her head. Good for her.
Fair.
And then she
brings them all pizza.
Yeah, and light beer.
And she brings in the pizza and beer, and all the girls are like, "Oh my God, we can't have that. We can't have that." And she says, "It's light beer," and she's gonna throw it up anyway. Which is also like that's an insane line, but we also know it's probably
it's
true.
But it's crazy.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, and then they all like have a great.
They go
time.
to this fun neon club. It looks super fun. I was like, I want to go there.
They got dancing. They got like neon paint on these big drums, and people are hitting the drums. The paint splattering all over.
Yeah.
The balcony they're on looks just like the balcony from Wedding Singer.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, wonder if they just fucking.
I bet it.
Right.
I bet it's a similar.
I forget what
location.
year Wedding Singer was.
98 or 99.
Yeah, probably. Same.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is so stuff looks so much more fun back then, huh?
This
I've
did
never
look
been to
super
like
fun.
a paint drum crazy time town. They brought pizza to the club too.
Yeah, or maybe they have pizza at the club.
Yeah, maybe.
I love a club with pizza. That's a great club.
Smart club. And so like they're chatting. Eventually, it's just Sandra Bullock in Rhode Island.
They're taking shots. And then she's like, oh, yeah, this is so fun. It should be illegal.
Speaking of illegal, you ever done a crime?
And Rhode Island's like, yes. She stole red underwear from the department store because her mom wouldn't let her buy them because she said they were Satan's panties.
I love that.
Love that for Rhode Island. And then she reveals, she's like, oh, I did something else bad. And she reveals that her lit professor assaulted her.
Exactly.
And, of course, Grace is horrified by this, as she should be. And Rhode Island's brushing it off because women are taught to behave that way. Yeah. And especially if she was raised to be like a pageant girl, like her parents were probably like stage mom vibes, just being like, well, you have to take it.
Exactly. And she's like, it happens to everyone. Obviously, she's heard that, and like, you have to get over it. It's just a normal part of life. And so Sandra Bullock's about to teach her how to like defend herself. And right then she like passes out because she's had so many test tube drinks.
Yes.
Plus whatever drinks beforehand. So they're all in the bathroom and she's trying to sober up our girl Rhode Island. And then she starts hearing dirt from the other pageant girls because they're all drunk about the allegations around Miss Morningside and her history.
Yes. Is it Morningside or Morningstar?
I thought Morningside, but I'm open-minded.
Morningstar written down. I just want to know if, because I don't remember. Nope, you're right. Morningside. I was just curious what I'm writing down.
Yeah. Yeah, and so they're talking about like her history, and I guess she almost won a pageant years ago, but then, or she was gonna lose, but then someone has mysterious food poisoning.
Yeah, and she's about to get fired as well, along with William Shatner, so she's pissed off.
Yep.
Now the FBI people are like, oh, it's some guy in Nevada.
They're like, we caught Citizen.
Oh, they caught Citizen specifically.
Yes.
This is where I'm not good at paying attention. I was like, this is crazy.
A lot of talking happening in this room. Give me the swimsuits back.
I just don't listen when men speak.
I think that's so smart of you.
Yeah.
And they're like, we got Citizen. She's like, I think it's a copycat. Like, this woman has a history of violent behavior. Blah, blah, blah. And Matthews doesn't have her back, which is disappointing. It feels very whatever that movie
so much is making sense in this movie now. Thank God you're here to explain. Listen, I still liked it and I was having a great time, and I've seen this movie many times.
I get it. It's like very Succession. Like, I didn't get what's going on, but I had a great time watching it. So he doesn't have her back, and it's so disappointing, and they all leave her, and she's like, I'm gonna stay here and figure it out. She's like, I'm just requesting a small team to be with me. Big boss says no. And so she's stuck there alone. She gave up her gun and everything. And she's
because she wants to protect these girls because women stick together.
Yep. And we do see Miss Morningside say something. Oh, she's trying to figure out, because now they've caught Citizen. And so she's making up different threatening letters from different other communities that could be threatening her.
Yeah.
She's trying to make some kind of thing. And she's also said, nobody fires me and gets away with it. She also, what I think is funny is she has a drawer in her desk that is made just for the tiara. Yeah. It's like a whole padded drawer. Anyway, Vic is leaving, unfortunately. He's supposed to help her out, but he's leaving.
Probably because I think he was hired by the FBI. Well, he's not getting paid anymore.
Yeah, if he doesn't leave, they won't pay him.
Yeah.
Is what they said, actually.
And he has this, I guess, sweet moment. He's like, if I had a daughter, I think she would be like you.
Something like you. That's why I didn't procreate.
That's why I never reproduced.
And he leaves her with a nice dress. And it's so sweet. She's the next day, and the ladies are helping her when they realize she has no idea what lipstick is. They're all like helping her get ready.
They realize that she's had him with because they noticed that he was there the whole time. And they're like, okay.
Oh, she doesn't know.
This is where it's like very sweet, because even though they're competing, the women are talking shit behind each other's backs. They still got each other. It reminds me of the 3 women in White Lotus, which a lot of people were like, they're toxic. I loved their relationship in season 3. I loved
the
them.
ending. I really loved like the speech our girl did at the end.
Yeah,
it, like,
Lori's
warmed
speech.
my heart.
I was just like, I don't know. Being a woman is complicated, but I love it.
It's so tricky, and it's not our fault. It's tricky.
No. So now we're doing the pageant. They do the top 10. She's in the top 10.
Yeah.
She trips.
They're all dressed as Lady Liberty, and they're all so sparkly. I love their hair sparkles and body sparkles and all of it.
Great look.
They do a dance number, and surprisingly, New Jersey gets in the top 10.
Yes.
And then as Matthews is getting on the plane to leave, they're all getting ready to leave. They packed up the warehouse. he hears the dirt from Vic about the son's indiscretions. They don't put together that the assistant to Miss Morningside is actually her son, because he had to change his last name from Morningside because there were so many bad things he did. And so now he's like, oh, we got to get back.
Her little henchman.
Exactly.
He does her dirty work for her.
Yep. And
except licking that envelope. She did that for herself.
Yeah. They try to say maybe Citizen had a girlfriend and that's why there's DNA on the envelope.
I mean, that's like a fair thing to consider.
It's a fair thing to consider, but I'm also like, it seems crazy to not like double check what's happening when that's the only evidence you have. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's the talent portion, and we find out that Sandra Bullock got Rhode Island fire batons.
Yeah, she gave her flaming baton. She does this great thing. I wrote here, why does this make me want to cry? A love female friendship. I was like, this is the sweetest thing.
I loved it. And this is pre-Amazon. So I'm like, how did she get this?
I know. I definitely was like, I think she was preparing it maybe from that moment. I don't know.
So cute.
She has flaming baton hookups.
And then Sandra Bullock's going to do her talent where she does her music classes, but it turns out that all the girls have been drinking the
which I also thought was
back.
Crazy because I was like, that's her talent.
You have to know that, but
you've seen her do it.
No one's eaten. People are hungover, and like they might just be like, water. We're stressed out. Water, you know.
But then she gets to kick the shit out of Eric,
which is perfect, and it's foreplay.
Yes,
and she like shows everyone's self defense. She uses SING as the acronym: solar plexus, instep, nose, groin. She gets to beat him up. People like it.
Yes.
And in the meantime, we see Frank switching the tiara for the
bomb tiara.
The bomb tiara. We announce the top 5. That's where we find out Cheryl's in nuclear fission.
Yes, they're saying their things.
They're lying that Gracie Lou is a pediatrician.
She wants to become a pediatrician.
She loves to do water ballet and take luxurious bubble baths.
Yeah.
We find out New York is a lesbian, which is great.
New York doesn't get into the top 5. And so on her going out, she's like, I just want to say to all you lesbians out there, like, if I can be in the top 10, so can you. Her girlfriend's cheering in the audience.
Yeah.
The people who are running the behind the scenes are like, can you say lesbian on TV? And I'm like...
And then the woman who's like doing the button, she's like, yeah, you have a problem with that? Yeah. I'm like, good for you. I loved it. It was fun. And then we have we're final 5, and it's like an interview thing. So they ask some specific questions. I don't know if it's purposeful that Miss Morningside asked Sandra Bullock this, but she's like, what do you say to people who say this competition is anti-feminist?
I think she does it on purpose because she probably wants, I think she's trying to throw her a trick.
Yeah.
And she answers it really well.
Yeah.
And is like, I used to be one of those people, but now I've learned like these women are really smart and supportive and like great people.
And I've never felt as liberated as I have when I've been doing this. And I'm like,
which is so true, because women, we should be able to do whatever we want.
Yeah.
And we should be able to exist in so many different facets. Like, we shouldn't have to be one thing or another. You can't put us in a box.
Yeah. We can be hot. We can be sloppy. We can do all of it.
Yeah.
So she has this beautiful answer, and then afterwards she like is gorgeous. It could have been the end. Everyone would have loved it. And then she says, also, I love my new friends, and if anyone tries to take out my new friends, I would take them out and wish they were never born.
Make them wish they were never born.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Then we're crowning. She gets second. Rhode Island wins. Yay.
And at this point, she already knows the bomb is in the crown. Sandra Bullock's put that together. She keeps trying to signal that it's in the crown. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, you want the crown. We love the crown. And then, Rhode Island wins. And she tries to hug Rhode Island and say, don't wear the crown. She can't hear her. So she's trying to take the crown off of
there's
Rhode
this
Island.
moment of Sandra Bullock really going at it. Rhode Island's just like bawling.
She beats her up with roses. And then I love every shot of Rhode Island just like wailing,
she's
mouth
just
open.
wailing because this is her moment.
This is everything she's wanted her whole life.
She's just being attacked by someone she thought was her friend.
Yeah. And then eventually Sandra Bullock gets the tiara, throws it up in the air just as Miss Morningside's triggering the bomb. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's great.
Blows
well
up.
done. And
then Morningstar gets arrested. Eric decides that he's into her and kisses her.
Yep.
And now they're together. She's about to leave the pageant, I guess the next day or whatever. She's leaving the hotel.
Yeah, they're leaving the hotel, packing up the hotel, and then
like, oh, there's
Rhode
something.
Island was like, it's Vic. He says there's some kind of incendiary, blah blah blah. Trying to say
you have to come
and
in.
She's like, oh, gotta go, and then they go, and
she learns that she's been voted Miss
Miss
Congeniality.
Congeniality. And she does the whole like nice speech. She has her little curly hair now. And she's like, I do really want world peace. But before she did that, she was talking as they were leaving the hotel. She's like, I'm really going to miss my heels. Like something about my posture. Suddenly very aware and proud of my breasts.
Yeah.
And that was cute. And then actually her guy. But before that, he does ask her out.
Mm-hmm.
He says, let's do a casual dinner. She's like a date. He's like, it's a casual dinner. If we happen to have sex afterwards, so be it. And I'm like, yeah, they're going to have some fun sex.
Yeah. I think that they stay together as long as fun sex can last. And then
Yes.
a tiny bit longer.
So how long do you think now?
I think 3 months. I think I'm going to stick with 3 because I think that they've got not very much time in a like relationship. I think that she figures it out, but then I think that they have hate sex for a little bit.
Who ends it though? Because I imagine he's got a wandering eye. She's not going to keep maintaining how hot she is here. It's crazy, right? Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's like fucking with other women. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's true. And they're not like in a relationship when it ends. So there's not really something to like.
And I don't know who
break
gets out of
off.
it. Like she should break it off, but also this might be her very first relationship. Like
I don't even know that they're going to get into a relationship. I think they honestly might just fuck for a little bit.
like a few months?
Yeah, like a few months.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to be like girlfriend, boyfriend.
it seems crazy to me.
Yeah. Because I don't think, I think that they'll go on some dates. I think they'll have some fun sex. And I don't see them being
I don't
actual
think
boyfriend,
he
girlfriend.
like even respects her enough to like be willing to see her that way. I don't think he makes anyone really his girlfriend. And then I don't know. I think she would be, even if she wanted it, I think she'd be fine with that because I don't know if she's really had it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that she may be open to him being her boyfriend, but I think also he's like a dumbass, and I don't think she's gonna put up with that.
Yeah, I hope not.
I hope not.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, it's her first relationship.
Mm-hmm.
She's like experiencing feeling hot as a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she'll put up with it. He's an asshole.
He's an asshole, and her brain hasn't changed.
No, her brain hasn't
She's
changed.
just having fun being like,
I'm a
I'm
lady.
hot, and like someone like he wants to
Likes
fuck
it,
me,
yeah.
and
And they
we're
have
gonna
cool
have
sex.
They're gonna have
They're
fun
gonna have
sex.
cool sex. Okay, I'm open to 3 months of fucking.
Yeah. And I don't know that they ever are actually official.
Yeah, I don't think they're
see
ever
him
official. No.
doing that.
Yeah, I don't see that either.
And I don't give a fuck what Miss Congeniality 2 says. And I don't care
It's
to
not
know.
my business. And maybe like, there are work parties like every few years where they get
might
too drunk,
fuck
they
from
have a fun
time to
time.
time.
I completely agree. I'm aligned.
Yeah.
We're aligned here.
All right. So it's never a real relationship.
This
They
is our
just
first
fuck.
one of those, huh? This is
Yeah.
our first no relationship, just fucking.
Just fucking for a while.
Yeah. And good for them.
Yeah, love that for them.
Yeah.
But
right.
hate him. Love that for her.
Hate
I'm glad that
him.
she's gonna have some like
If
crazy
she's
sex
getting
for
off,
it.
I'm happy for her.
Yeah, and then she'll meet someone better.
Yeah. Who's not a
And-
piece of shit.
Who's not a piece of shit. And I kind of feel like she needs a man who's like maybe a little more submissive.
Yeah, I think she'd have a good time with that.
Yeah.
Or like a man who's like quieter on the outside, seems like not much, and then secretly is like,
Yes.
I think that's what she wants.
Yes.
I think that's what's good for her.
Yeah.
Like a surprise guy.
And yes, it has to be, she can't step all over him.
No.
He has to be able to hold his own.
Yeah.
But on the outside, she can be the more dominant person in the relationship.
Yeah. And then she has a fun little switch up in the bedroom, I think is ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And that's not Eric.
That's not Eric.
All right.
Yeah.
We did it.
This was fun.
This is a great movie. I'm so happy that we did it.
Me too. It's nice.
All right. This has
It's
been
When Harry Dumps Sally.
Every Tuesday. See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.